Hey everybody, it's Carol with Refunction Crafts, and I'm going to, as promised, and hopefully my camera won't stop recording on me, I'm going to bring you guys a video on how I do my peacock pieces that I use on top of my compact mirrors and some of my other projects. I should have pulled one out to show you. But I will be putting one at the beginning of this video. Let's see. Darn it. I guess I'll show you this one. This is one that I've done, but it doesn't have any color in it, so it's not really going to give you a good inkling of what it is that I'm doing today. This one's just one that I poured all white. You can see the peacock here. And this is actually one of my compact mirrors. I do this one mostly as sort of like a wedding or a bridal gift. So that's why I do this one in all white. I have a few of those in my Etsy store that I've done. But today we're going to add color, and I want to show you guys what it's like to do one of these in some pretty colors and make it really, really attractive. So we're going to go ahead and get started because the process of doing the resin can take some time. The first part that we're going to do, this is going to be one video, but I'm going to have to do it in two parts. The process takes a full 24 hours to make one of these. So just so that you know, it's not a quick and dirty thing, but it is fun. And you can make some really, really beautiful projects doing this process. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my resin, and I bought some less expensive, well, not less expensive, less resin, so it cost me less money so that I would be able to do some resin projects that I've been wanting to do. So I purchased this resin on Amazon. I have not used this brand before, so let's hope that it works really, really well. You use it in a 1-to-1 ratio, so you've got here's the epoxy resin, and then let's see, oh, I'm sorry, this one's the resin, this one's the hardener. So these are the two bottles. It's called, it just says epoxy resin. So I don't know if we have crystal clear epoxy resin. That's what it's called. Anyway, I'll put the link down below if you're interested in purchasing this, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to use, I buy these little cups from the Dollar Tree, and they come in these little packages. They're little sort of shot glasses, I guess you would say, plastic. But I buy those from the Dollar Tree because they're perfect for measuring out small amounts of resin. Another thing I'm going to be using is some of this solar color dust. This is something that I got based on a video that I watched from a guy whose channel is called Ben's Works, and if you guys get a chance to view some of his projects, OMG. He's from the UK. He makes the most beautiful things. He makes a lot of what they call dragon eggs and things like that, but the colors and the vibrance that he uses, and then he turns his pieces on a lathe most often. So he does some really beautiful stuff, so you guys should really check out Ben. He's awesome. My husband and I generally, he makes a video once a week, and my husband and I sit usually on Fridays or Saturdays and watch resin videos and woodworking videos. So that's kind of our excitement during the weekend, that we do, you know, just to spend time together and to see some unique new projects. So anyway, let's get this started. So the first thing that I'm going to do, again, this is a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to pour the resin, and I only need a little bit because I'm only going to be filling in right now part of the stuff below. So I'm going to take a very little bit. This is the resin. And then I'm going to take and put the exact same amount of hardener in this other cup that I have sitting next to it. And you want to make sure that you're on a level playing field here, which I am not. This table that I'm on is not extremely level, so you got to get it as level as you can, because you don't want to put more of either in your cups, because what happens is, especially if you put more hardener than resin, your resin will come out sticky and soft and it won't cure properly. So you have to be sure that you're putting the exact correct amounts that you're mixing together. And then I use these little stir sticks or popsicle sticks, whatever you can find, and I'm going to be mixing these two together. And then what you have to do is, when you mix these up, you have to mix them for about 3 minutes. So that's kind of a long time, and I'm going to mix this very slowly because I don't really want to get a lot of bubbles in my resin. It's not going to matter a whole lot if I'm using color, but it will still make bubbles. And when you have a lot of bubbles, then you end up with the bubbles, then you end up with little bubbles in your piece. And so when you pull it out, you'll have little bubbles everywhere that pop up in the curing process, and then they kind of get stuck, and then they come up wherever they got stuck. And usually it's towards the edges of your project, or sometimes in the middle. Depending on how clear your project, some of them won't matter if they're in the center. If you're making a bigger project and you've got bubbles in the middle and there's color, it won't really matter. But if you're doing a clear resin, which I do a lot of because I do some pieces where I put maybe some dried flowers in it, or I am going to be doing a dandelion. You know, the part with the fuzzies that you blow and make a wish on? I'm going to be doing one of those. I've actually done a couple of them, but when I did the last ones, I had resin that was old, because resin actually does have a expiration date. So it has a shelf life of about 6 months. You can use it after that, but it starts to not work as well over time. So I'm just letting you know. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some of this resin in this cup. I'm actually going to use a couple of cups here. And I'm going to put different colors in with it. And then I'm going to mix some of this beautiful color dust in with it too, just to see how it does. Now, I have not used this color dust before, and I did send a couple of packages of this to my friend Debbie over at Kiki's Sale, because she makes a lot of resin projects as well, and I want to see what she can do with it. So I did send, Debbie, when you watch this, I did send you a couple of packages of this in your kit that you bought from me. So I just wanted to let you know that that's coming, and I hope it's something that you can use and try out. But watching my video, you'll be able to kind of test it and see how it works out. Okay, so this is good and stirred, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that it gets clear. There are bubbles in this, and there's a way that you take out the bubbles, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. But I am going to put a little bit in this container and a little bit in this container, because what I want to do is this mold that I'm using is a peacock mold, and I want to use kind of some multiple colors, and then I'm also going to be adding some resin to some of the flowers and things that are on the inside of this. So I'm going to go crazy today and try some different stuff. So This ought to be a lot of fun. I think I want to just kind of make it pretty even here with the colors. Okay, and then I'm going to take some purple, and this is Alumilite ink, or dye, I should say. This is Alumilite. You do not want to use, if you use Alumilite dyes, do not use a lot. What I do, because this stuff gets really dark really fast, I take a toothpick and I rub it across the top of this, and as you'll see when I start stirring this, that color changes pretty deeply right away. Now I'm going to probably make this a little darker, because usually when I use just a tiny bit, I'm doing it because I want the color to be transparent. In this instant, I don't. I want it to be a dark, like this, I want it to be a dark purple. So we've got purple here. And I'm going to grab a couple more toothpicks, close up the purple, and I'm going to use some blue. Oops. Yeah. On this, I'm just going to drop a little. Okay, there's our blue. And then I'm going to use some green. And I think on this green, I'm just going to go ahead and let it drop in there. If I can get it to come out. Goodness gracious. Okay. But even if you want it to appear dark, you have to use such a little amount of the dye, because these colors really come out dark and vibrant. Okay, so we have green, blue, and purple, and then my test is gonna be this stuff. I'm going to put a little scoop of this in each one of these, just to get, because the way that this stuff works, it's got lots of shimmering colors, if you can see it on the camera. And so it's gonna reflect, it's gonna cause these colors that I'm using to reflect these other beautiful colors. And so I think it's going to be really pretty. I haven't done one with these yet, so this is going to be very interesting for me. I don't know if I've put enough in there or not, but we'll see. And these are just little powders or dust that kind of changes and makes that resin reflective. And this one is actually purple, blue, and green are the colors that are in this powder. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more in each one. And hopefully that's going to be enough and not too much. But I think it's going to make the peacock really stand out in this piece. So I think it'll be really pretty. And I think I'm going to take some of the purple and the green and maybe use it in the flowers and the leaves as well. And then the background of this one is probably going to be white. So just so that you guys know. So the way that I'm going to do this, this is my mold. And if you can see in there, there is, let me see where it is. We have a peacock right over here where my index finger is. You can see the peacock and the flowers and all that stuff. I'm going to be filling this in just in those little recessed places where the peacock and the flowers and things are. I'm going to move in closer so that you guys can see a little bit closer what I'm doing. I'm going to try and put a little more light on my subject so that I can see a little bit better. Because I don't like when I get out of the lines on these. It can be very annoying when that happens. So I'm just taking, and I'm gonna put little bits of this in at a time. And I'm starting right here at the peacock's tail. And I'm using the green right now. And I'm just gonna sort of slide it around, because I'm also going to want the blue and the purple to kind of show through too in these same areas. So I want it to be colorful and unique. So we're going to be using all of these colors and just kind of spreading them around, and then eventually it will fill in the entire tail and body of the peacock. And it's going to be so, so pretty. And it's not going to look like much right now, you guys. And you'll see, once the project is completely done, you'll be amazed at how gorgeous these things turn out. And I, in particular, absolutely love this mold. I use it a lot for a lot of projects. I make the compacts, and I make tins where I use this mold. Little round, tins that you can use maybe for jewelry or things like that. Okay, so now I'm going to try and throw in some blue. And I have a feeling this shimmery stuff is going to be so gorgeous. And see, I just missed a little bit, and I got some of this blue in an area that I did not want it to go into. So what I have to do now is find my napkin. I had an extra napkin. Here it is. And I need to get this blue out of here. And this stuff takes hours to cure, and I have a working time with this. I think my working time with this particular one is 45 minutes. I'm not positive. I hope I have 45 minutes to work with this. But this is why you want to be careful, because you only have so much time to do this in. And so you have to work quickly, but also be careful that you're not putting this in places that you don't want it to go. So. And this blue and this green together, OMG, it's looking super pretty. And then we'll put some of the purple in there, because peacocks and their feathers, they have, particularly the males, have gorgeous blues, greens, and purples in their feathers. So, and this is, honestly, if you don't have really great eyesight, this is not easy to do, because it's hard to see this mold, honestly. So at times it's like, oh my gosh, I am not even positive that I got it in the exact right spot, And I try to let this kind of flow around to the head. And then there's a couple of little spikes up here where you would see that a peacock has those little, the little thing on top of its head. And now I'm going to take some of the purple and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to add some purple in there. And hopefully it will get down to the bottom of the mold where you will see it mixed in with these other colors. And then once I get it filled, I'll kind of swirl it around a little bit so that I'm sort of mixing the colors together and getting a swirled effect. I have a feeling this one's going to turn out really pretty. I can tell already. I can't wait for you guys to see what this looks like when I'm done. And again, I have not used this dust before, so I'm not positive, but I have watched Ben use it in some of his projects. They're not projects like what I do, but I have seen the beautiful effects that he's gotten from them. And I just, a long time ago, like I said, I ordered this and I haven't used it. It's been sitting and sitting and sitting. And now that I had some resin, I thought, you know, I really need to get in there and use some of my dust. So here it is. And then I'm going to take it and put it into some of these flowers. I've got a big rose in the very center right here that I'm going to do in purple. And I think I'm just going to kind of try and pour a little bit in there. I hope that it doesn't drizzle into any other part, because this really is very time consuming, you guys. And here I am getting off camera, and I'm very sorry about that. So right now we're working on this rose. And let's see, there's some other flowers here. And I think I'm just going to kind of drizzle a little bit there where those flowers are. And then I'm going to use some green where I know there are leaves. That attach to these flowers. This is the really hard part because I honestly cannot see this very well at all. So this is when I pray that the colors don't all run together and make a mess, because I really want this to turn out nice. And I may have to pick this up a time or two just so that I can see what I'm doing, because like I said, it's hard to see sometimes and I don't want to make a mess of this whole thing, so because that's very wasteful, and resin is not cheap. So I say this was a little cheaper, it was only because I bought a very small amount. So I was able to save money by doing that. Okay, now I think the rest of what's at the bottom is leaves. So now I'm going to take my green and I'm going to use that in the leaves. It doesn't look very green right now. So what I might do is take some more of my green dye and squirt a drop or two in there so that it does come out green. Yeah, that's better. Now, a lot of times I'm not really into a lot of the frosty stuff. There we go. Sorry, guys. But whenever I see Ben using this stuff, I just love it. It just is so gorgeous. And I had to try it. And my husband wants to use some in some of the resin stuff that he does out in his garage too. He uses a little bit different resin than I do. His resin is more of a by weight sort of thing. He does bigger items, like little jewelry pots and things like that. His stuff is so awesome. But I don't do anything really that big, so I thought, you know, if I get this, it'll last me. I can keep it in the house with me. And when I'm ready to use it, I can just pull it out and make something. So that's why I got this. And I think Jeff uses, my husband uses Liquid Diamonds. I think that's the brand that he uses. I'm just dabbing a little bit of this green. I have to look and see. Yeah, there's a little bit of leaves up in here. I just hope I'm not going to make a mess of this. Because honest to goodness, doing this way, this is why this is a little bit harder to do a video on, because doing it this way, I can't put it right in front of my face too easily, because then you guys wouldn't be able to see it. I'm just hoping that with most pieces I can, it's not a big deal, but this is such an intricate mold that it makes it hard for me to see. And it's all one color, so it's not like I can see a color change where I need to do different colors. So that makes it hard too. But sometimes, you know, sometimes your colors will spread into other areas, and unfortunately that happens, and, you know, but it still makes a pretty piece. You can still use it, you know, depending on what you're going to do with it. So okay, I think I want to put a little more of this green into the peacock's tail, because I really like the way this green came out once I added more to it. But I don't want to put so much in it that it's gonna get all over the place. Okay, so this is what we have right now. I've got it all over the bottom. Doesn't look like much, but I'm going to have to let this cure, and then I will come back. And right now I'm gonna kind of swirl this green in there, if you can see kind of how I'm doing that. And hopefully it'll look swirled at the top. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I am going to let this cure, and then I will start doing the overlay part of the resin, which is probably going to be in white, and we'll have this project finished, and you guys can see what it looks like when it's done. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I messed up a little bit, you guys, and I'm sorry about that, but I mixed up the white resin. I poured it, and I didn't get it on camera. So, but that's okay, because all I did was pour white resin over the top of what I had in this mold. You saw me put in the greens and the blues and the purples. And then I just, once this part had cured, I poured the white over the back side of it to give my alternating color or my contrasting color. And this is what the final piece looks like. You can see the shine and the glow in the peacock and the flower. Whoops, there we go. Peacock and the flowers and the leaves and everything. It came out really, really pretty. So that is the piece. And then what I do, this is one of my compact mirrors that I use. And then what I would do is, if I wanted to use it on a compact, and forgive me because this resin has not 100% cured yet. It's still a little bit soft and pliable, so I can kind of move it around a little bit. But then it would go on a compact mirror like that, and then I would put probably rhinestones around the outside and dress it up and make it really, really look nice. Let's see, which way does this go? You know, so the compact would open like that, and there you go. And then I also poured what was left over into this peacock, and it came out really gorgeous. You can see the sparkle from the color dust that I used to add to the green and the blue and the purple. So that's what I did today, you guys. Both of these will be in my Etsy store in some form or fashion. I will be doing something with them. This one I may end up selling just as is so that somebody could use it as an embellishment, because you can add rhinestones to the tail here, because you can see where there's little spots where you could add rhinestones and so forth. But see that sparkle there? This just came out absolutely stunning. So anyway, that's what we did today, you guys. Thanks for watching, and have a really blessed day. And don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the notification button if you'd like to be notified when I do new videos. And share my video with your friends and family if you'd like to do that, if you think maybe they'd be interested in seeing it. And if you have any questions, just list them down below, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks so much, and make sure you check out, I've got my Etsy store listed down below, and Kiki sale, where you can get bling, and you can get other things. She does make some resin products that she sells, finished products, so I'll put that link down below as well. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.